Guys, welcome back. Sdho 114. How have you been? We're going to do a lot of things today. We're not just going to be talking about AI and spirituality. We're going to be talking about some Ableton stuff. We're going to be using some Ableton stuff because, believe it or not, I'm going to be making my first Ableton tutorial. Most likely, I'm going to be making my first Ableton tutorial since 2022, so over 3 years. And I'm pretty excited to do so because I'm very inspired to, and I found I didn't find a cool thing, I always knew about this, but like my understanding of it just increased, it expanded, and I was like, oh, like people should really see that. I don't know if there's other videos on this. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's a hidden area of Operator. I think if you really know a lot about Operator, you might be able to figure it out. And so you might know about it. And so I was like, why don't I make that? And so for today, I'm like, well, why not? Let's just practice, go over it. But I'm also going to talk about other things. Did some interesting AI video generation stuff. But rather than, which I wanted to show you because it just completely blew me away. So just going to show you a lot of interesting things, kind of take you into not only the Ableton world, which we get into a lot, but also into the digital art creative realm and do a lot of different things today and bounce around. So while we're here, we're in Final Cut Pro because I use Mac and this is my video editor. So for instance, what you're seeing on the screen right now, and we will be jumping into Ableton in a little bit, but I figured since we're here, we might as well start here. But what you're seeing on the screen right now, even though it says Kling AI, which Kling AI or Kling is a good one to download. So like go to the Apple Store or the Google Store or whatever it's called for like Google or Android, I don't know. And download Kling. One, there's a lot of good ones. There's Runway. There's Runway, and oh no, I hope my computer's not already overheating. Thermal throttling, as it's appropriately called. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is a render that I made. So I made that in Blender computer graphics software, and I uploaded it to Kling, and you get a 5-second video AI generation. And I said, oh, take us through the house. And so here's what it made. So what's really crazy, as someone who makes their own renders, like I have a render that actually like this is an entire house that I built like back in 2021. I created like an 18 or 2000 frame render. So that would mean it would make, so like when you render something in a computer graphics software, you're rendering one image, which could take like a second or two to render. It could take a minute or two to render. It depends on your render engine and what you're using. And so if you want to make anything other than just a still image in a computer graphics software and you want to make a animation, you have to animate the camera. You usually choose your frame rate, FPS, so you would either choose 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. So if I navigate the camera through this virtual house, this virtual world that I'm making, 30 frames, because I go with 30 frames per second, 30 frames equals 1 second. What I would normally do when I would make animations is I would normally try to make like a 10-second animation. So 10-second animation is 300 frames. When you have that animation, each render, so let's say like your average render with the Blender Eevee engine is like 15 seconds. So it'll render the first frame, it'll take 15 seconds, then the second frame, 15 seconds, third frame, 15 seconds, and a lot of more ray tracing render engines like Blender's Cycles, because they have 2 render engines. Not going to get deep in the weeds there. But that would normally take like a minute or two, right? So you can see how it would take forever just to get 10 seconds. So I wanted to know like what it would do, and it's weird because I used AI even though I know all of like the AI video generation models, like I know about them, I haven't really used them because I just really haven't cared. And I don't want to pay for anything, and ideally I don't want to have to like log into anything. But I was like, what, screw it. And about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And we're in like November 11th. Actually, hello, happy 11/11, guys. It's 11/11 today. Don't know when this will go out, but I'm like holding the laptop just to make it like cool quicker. I think it's doing a pretty good job cooling. Let's see. Oh, nice. Okay, good. It cooled down. Good. Where was I? We're going to do a lot of things today, and we're also going to talk about AI, spirituality, but we're going to start here, then go to Ableton, then come back. Just a lot of digital art, music creation. I'm going to show you that thing in Operator with the additive synthesis. I haven't recorded like screen recording the whole setup in a while, so I hope it's okay. I'm just glad we're not overheating yet. So where was I? So yeah, so I downloaded Kling and Runway, and I didn't really want to sign in to like use it, kind of done a lot of like in AI image generation, which is like pretty cool, but it's like boring now because like why do that when you can just do like video generation, And so I was like, okay, fine, sure, I'll sign in with like my Apple ID. And in fact, like when you do use these apps, like usually it's like sign in with Google, sign in with Apple, or sign in with your email. Believe it or not, if you don't want to sign in with your like Apple ID or Google ID, it's actually better to do that than with your email, because when you do it through, let's say, your Apple ID, they don't get to see your email, and thus like that your email is like hidden. So I guess like they can't like email or spam you or whatever. And so, I got about like 5 or 6 of these video generations a month. And I did it like last month, like early October. And it was like, okay, like I had a picture of my family, some birthday party in the summer of this year. And I was like, oh, take this image of us and make us throw up water balloons or throw water balloons at each other. And it did it. And it was like, kind of okay. And like, don't get me wrong, like AI video generation is absolutely amazing. And so like I'm using like a free product, that's not like the full version. So I wasn't expecting much, and it was just okay. And then it was like, and I'll show you some of the ones that like it did do that were okay. Like this one. This is actually an AI generated image that I had, that I did actually over a year ago. I had it done for me, and I was like, oh, animate these people, and it did this. And then this is an old render I made, this guy. So just what you're seeing right here is the image. So, my first thing is I was like, okay, let's take this AI generated image, which by the way, yes, it is pretty remarkable, this thing. I actually played with the colors and the contrast levels to make it look like that, which is another thing that's good, that like even when you are generating things with AI, like you want to like know enough about like, digital image compositing, manipulation to like play with the colors and the contrast levels. So I had to do that. And then I was like, okay, let's put in one of my old renders. And I was like, okay, I uploaded this. So like this still image, I uploaded it, and I was like, okay, make this guy like move around the room, make the crystals move around. And then this is what it generated. And again, this is when I did it in early October. And I thought these were just like, okay. And the other ones I'll show you is what I had them do for me when I opened up Kling a few days ago and was like, oh, I wonder if my monthly credits came back. And then I got very good results. And so this was the last one I did from like early October. So meaning like it's improved a lot in the last month. So here it is. So let's see what it did. This is actually one of my renders. This is like what I did, and then we'll get to that later. Gonna get to that later because overheating. All right, let's put it down. Gonna need to let the computer chill out and deheat itself. So when a computer thinks it's like getting too hot, it does like a thing called thermal throttling. And on like an Apple computer, it does this like, it runs a program that basically maxes out all your CPU. So like you have no choice but to like not use the computer until it slows down. And that program in Apple or on Mac OS is called kernel task. So, wow. I mean, we weren't even doing anything. It's just like all these programs open at the same time. Not good. Still recording though. Even though it's making this weird noise. Let's take a break here. Yeah. Are we all right? We okay? And we are live in 1, 2, 3, boom. All right, I had to shut my audio interface off and let things cool down. So I think we should probably just get into the Ableton operator section of things before we run into any issues. So additive synthesis, which is done in Ableton's operator. Ableton's operator is most known for its, so like if you're in Ableton and you want to do FM synthesis, frequency modulation synthesis, you would use operator. But you can certainly do the most basic form of synthesis, subtractive synthesis, which is mostly used with the filter and like bright waveforms like a saw or a square wave. But operator also lets you do the additive synthesis, which if you go into the waveform setting and go to user, then you can then draw in the harmonics. But we can take it a step further and get these very interesting we can go from playing with the, like these are harmonics. These are all harmonics of this, which is the fundamental. And they're all mathematically related. They're harmonics. However, so if I were to draw this one in, the third harmonic, it's mathematically related, thus it's called a harmonic. But if I tune it a couple of cents or a lot of cents above, it becomes an overtone, which means it's not exactly harmonically related, and it gives this metallic-y sound. It gives this like bell sound, and it's very unique, and I'll show you how you do that. And that's where like these fine knobs come in. So like the coarse. So if I put this coarse up to 2, that's like the same as if here on A, I just dialed up the second harmonic. You know, and I like move this up. But when I change this fine, I'm saying, okay, from the second harmonic, let's detune it up to here, 43 cents. Or however however they delineate this. It doesn't really matter. You really do it by ear. But I'm just going to deactivate all of these. So it's very unique. We're going to get into that quickly, and then we're going to jump back into the digital art realm. I'm going to show some of those things and then close off just talking about like AI stuff. Let's see how we're doing now with the thermal throttling right now. Doesn't seem to be doing that bad. So like additive synthesis is actually like, I believe like the first synthesis ever. It only does sine waves, and it's like, where do you want to add sine waves in the sound you're playing? And I believe like old organs and like big church organs and stuff, it would like do that. So for instance, and we should probably get spectrum so we can see this. So right now I'm playing C. Now watch what happens when I add this. And that note is also C, because that's a second harmonic. And the third harmonic. And so whichever like level you want. Play around with it. And that's all well and good, but see, like this second harmonic, I don't want it to be where it is. I want to like slightly detune it up or down. So you might say, well, then how the heck do we do that? That's when you enact these, because now you can use these tunes. So when we did second harmonic, that's what the course is. And then fine is how we detune it. Now we can't go below, but we could, play around with that. So for instance, and before we do that, we need to change this algorithm here. This is like the FM algorithm, this one. This is purely FM. They're all FM besides this one. And we will come back to these later, but this is like the subtractive one, which means you hear the output, which means they're not like frequency modulating each other. So right now, only A is active because you can see this level right here. And when we add B, see, it's C above, C. It would be the same if we put it back down to 1. See how it just gets louder because it's just more. But now look what happens when we play with the fine. Hear that? And now let's go with the third harmonic and play with that. You got to add the level, of course. Doesn't matter. It can be as crazy as you want. Play with the levels. But we want to give it like an envelope later. But let's just keep going here. Get the fourth. Just going by ear. I know it sounds crazy now. And then what we do is let's play with the envelopes. So listen. Just playing with B. See how like metallic it kind of sounds? Now let's play with C. D. Maybe play at the level. Gonna let it cool down. So here's what we have, and I'm going to try to move fast because as soon as like the computer starts revving up, I don't want that to happen again. So listen. Sounds like metallic-y. So you can play around. Play with the level, envelope. Just like dial it in. Just all by ear. Now we're on C. I like where it was. A little bit punchier, and this has got a little bit like... Definitely hear it when you like deactivate it. play with A. That's fine. Let's get some reverb on there. I'm going to activate the low, take out some low diffusion. Dry wet. Do the decay. It's always important with the reverb. It's still probably too much. Take some dry wet. Dry, wet, and decay are the most important on the reverb. So what's interesting is there's no FM at all. Good, that sounds okay. That sounds better. But now I'm going to group this. We don't have to group it to do it, but it's nice because we can then map it to the knob, which is going through these like selectors, these like different algorithms. So I'm going to select this, Command G, open this up, and I'm going to right click. Okay, maybe not. I'm going to go to map, and I'm going to select this, map to macro 1, get out of map. Now check this out. Now it's using this one, if you can see it. So like it's like a good way to like preview. So like all of A, B, and C, and D are lit up, and this is the different routing. So like all the way down, we were here. So if one sounds better, cool, go with it. That's it. That's it. Very punchy. I like the one right before that. And you can go in and tweak if you want. Ooh. So when I was like playing around and discovering all this, I was like, I want everyone to know about this. That's why I need to like come on and do it. And I'm gonna do like a full one. It's like the same, but like much more punchier. So like what this one means is, the unfortunate thing is we can't see it. So I'm gonna like ungroup this. Ungroup. So this one. So like this one is the all subtractive, which means you hear all of these oscillators. If we went to the one that's default, this one, it means that B modulates A, C, okay, let's start over. So this D modulates C, which modulates B, and then that all modulates the sound you hear A. And the only thing you hear is the one on the bottom. So for this one, it's A. For this one, it's A. This one, it's A. This is one, it's A. This one, you hear B and A. And then you have C right here, blue, modulating both B and A. And then if you want, you can have D modulating C. I know that sounds really crazy and convoluted, but when you really look into it, like, it's not so complicated, but if it's your first time hearing it, it would. But don't worry about it. I like that. So that's cool. And maybe let's put like a modulation effect on there. See what phaser sounds like. So I wanted to play around with that. See how we're doing on the thermal throttling. Where are we? Where are we? Did it start? Oh, it started, yeah, because it's above 100. Okay. That's cool. So we don't really need Ableton anymore, I don't think. I just wanted to show that, and I'm glad that we were able to. So let's get out of here. But I do want to go back into Final Cut Pro, but I'm going to let it cool off for a little bit while I go back into these AI video stuff while I let it cool down. The vocals don't get all screwed up and I have to start over like last time, and that's fine. Because I've done this enough, I know how to do it. It just needs to cool down a little bit. Very, very good. By the way, did you guys watch the last SDHO? Came out like a week ago, I think. It was the first one in 4 months, and we just kind of like talked about AI, spirituality, the intersection of the two, also economics, like how do you live when we are in the age of abundance and all of that, moving from the age of scarcity, which is really all we've known as like a human population, into the age of abundance. But we'll get into that later. I want to kind of take over the techie side so I can just talk without having to worry about the computer thermal throttling, which I guess in layman's terms means overheating. So yeah, I think it's already cooled down already. Very nice. I knew the exact good time to stop it. So yeah, let's see here. So as I said, when I first used an AI video generator, like I've not really been that interested to use it, to be honest. Like when I go onto X and I follow all the AI people that I follow, along with like the crypto people I follow, financial people I follow, tech, kinds of other things, politics, which, yeah, that's, and just things going on in the world, other things I'm interested in. To make sure we're still recording. GarageBand. That's where I'm doing the vocals in the GarageBand. Where is the GarageBand? Okay, good. It is on the GarageBand. Okay, that's good. You know, I really didn't have an interest to. I'm like, yeah, but like I make my own things, you know. And by the way, people really don't like AI. There's a lot of people that do, probably a smaller percentage. I don't really want to get into that right now. Maybe I will later. I want to kind of get into the things. So anyways, yeah, maybe it's a good time to get back on the computer. Oakley dokley. So this was an AI generated image. I uploaded it to Kling and I said, make them move around. And again, these two were the ones that I did early October of this year, 2025. And I was like, okay, that's okay. Edit like an image of my family. I was like, oh, make us like throw water balloons at each other. And I was just like, you know, and like when it did it, like it didn't kind of really look like us, or like it did, but like I was like, not enough for where I'd be like, oh, sure, Kling, I'm going to pay you like $15 a month for a bunch of credits. I'm like, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? And I could just use Runway. I could use Luma. I could use all these other ones to do it. Like, I don't really care that much, but I was curious to kind of see like what sort of results I would get. So this one was cool. So this is the, so this is an image that I had an AI generate for me about a year ago that I've always liked. I processed up the colors in this program, Final Cut Pro. I decided to do it. And what's interesting too is that like now we're at a point where it doesn't just generate the video, but it generates audio. And that audio we can export and then put in like a sampler in Ableton and play around with it. And like just listen to the audio too. Like pretty creepy, you know? And then this one. So again, with this one, this was the render I made, the still image render I made years ago. And I was like, make him dance around the room, make like the crystals float around. And I actually took that one and I when I did it like a day or two ago, like I hadn't used it in like a month and a half, I was like about to be like, I wanted to see, since I believe that it's gotten a lot better in the last month, I was going to upload that and be like, oh, tell me, or like I was going to ask it the same thing, oh, make him move around the room, make the crystals go up, to see like if it really did improve. And then when I clicked generate, it was like, you ran out of credits for the month. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So, yeah, like it's just so crazy, these sounds, and the songs are kind of like eerie. They're kind of mysterious. Like they like fit in. Up until recently, I would say up until this summer, you would just get video generation, but you wouldn't get video generation and audio, which is just phenomenal. So just take a listen. Dancing around the room. We'll play these back because these are the only two that I have over here that are from that first one, from early October, and the other ones, and like it got better in my opinion. So I made this. This is a render I made in Blender. It's not done, but I like to make like architecture type stuff. I like to make like architecture, interior renders and stuff. And I like the way that looks, right? Like I like the floor, I like the angles of the upper thing. And it's weird because I've been getting a lot more simplistic. Like I started making 3D computer graphics stuff in 2019. And actually, to believe it, I actually started at the end of 2018. But like I had to learn Blender. I've never used a 3D computer graphics software program before. So I had to, so like when I was learning and it was so hard, there's this tendency, and I feel like if you guys use Ableton, because maybe you found my channel through that, like there's this tendency when you're learning to like want to learn like everything and to like add all of these things because you're learning all these things. But then you realize like it's almost like better if you just, you'll find like simplicity. Like it's really crazy. So like when I wasn't as good at like 3D computer graphics as I am today and as I've come to be, there would be times where I would make these like little test renders of like an empty scene. Might look like what you see on the screen right now. And I would be like, okay, what to add next, what to add next, what to add next. And it was crazy because I would look at something like this and be like, is it okay that I just make that? Is it okay that I just make that? Can it be simple like that? Maybe that's what I want to show you. Maybe I don't need to add a this or that or that or the other. And so I was like, you know what? This was like many months ago. I was like, I took that image, which is a render from Blender, and I uploaded it to ChatGPT, and I was like, I haven't done this before. I uploaded it, and I said, hey, what would you add to this? You know what I mean? Like just asking AI. And it's so funny because what it recommended was like the things that I would have done. It was like, well, I would say maybe add like a pool of water in the middle. I'm like, dude, that's basically what I do in all of these things. I make this like architectural structure with like a pool of water in the middle. And it was like, and then maybe add like a metallic sphere. And I was just like, okay. And because it can generate images, I'm like, generate it. And then this is what it generated. It generated, so like, see how it's all goofy like this? It doesn't quite look like this. So it generated this. It didn't generate this thing. This is what I had made it do about a day or two ago. It generated this little thing, Insomnia on the wall. Notice how like the floor looks kind of smoky. It's supposed to be that way, but you don't see it up here. That's what like AI told me would look good. It generated the metallic sphere, generated the pool. Look at how the refractions in the sphere show like, the pool and the thing here. That's exactly what you would want, especially if you're working in 3D software. And I was like, and then I told it like, okay, by the way, could you generate like an extraterrestrial standing in the room? And that's when it added this guy. So I thought it was just like interesting to look at. So when I was like searching for like things to upload the other day, I then came across this. Now, does this look just a little bit better than the last two? They're, again, only 5 seconds. It also does the audio. Does this not also seem a little bit like better? Like, take a look at this. Now, all I said was make the extraterrestrial move around the room. Like, that's really all I said. And this is just what it chose to do. And of course, you're hearing the music that it generated, which is interesting. Like, I like the bubble sounds. I almost want to like sample the bubble sounds and stuff. So yeah, pretty crazy. So it made this one for me, made this one for me. Now this is my render, many years ago, 2021. And I said, same with this one, just this frame. Everything else is AI generated. And I was like, oh, just give me a tour. Now, keep in mind, I do have a video on my YouTube. It's like Tour My Satori Home. You can go find it. It's like one of the first uploads to my YouTube channel. And I was like, I wonder what it would do. Like, what does it think the inside of this looks like? And this is what it thinks it looks like. And then this is another image from inside that home, and it generated this, and I loved it. Dude, I love this. I love, and so you're like, oh, well, it's like it's AI's generating that. Yeah, but at the same time, I haven't done a lot of like Blender work in a long time. And when I saw this, it inspired me. And I was like, I'm going to create this on my own. I'm going to create this on my own. and do my own thing with it. So like using AI for like idea generation and inspiration. That's great. Look at how like gonky this is up here, how like unstraight it is, and like this down here. And so here it is. I'm just gonna play all of this and just like watch. This was an AI generated image. I said make Nordic ETs. And I just isolated that image to like play around with it. And by the way, these are all just like video clips that are in my video editor, Final Cut Pro. So one thing I want to show you, let's go to here, is remember I said like, oh hey Chonky, it's Chonky. Chonky, thanks for joining us, Chonky. What do you got to tell us, Chonky? What's going on in the world of Doggy? By the way, his name is actually Merlin. Merlin, or do you like Twonky? You've got two names, Twonky. No, don't spit on the computer screen, okay? I know you can't help it. I know it comes from your little pug nose. What a good doggy. He's a good doggy. He's gonna be 8.5 years old on December 1st, because he's a June 1st birthday. I'm a June 4th birthday. Probably shouldn't have said that live on to my millions of followers. Okay, so let's go frame for frame, right? So if I click the right arrow, if I click the right arrow, this is, look at it, it's generating frame by frame and it's keeping consistency, something AI video generation really wasn't able to do that well up until this summer of this year, 2025. Now, okay, next frame, click. Oh, it didn't move. That means it's the same frame for 2 frames. Next frame, moved. Next framed, moved. I'm clicking. Next framed. Next frame. Oh, same frame. So my thoughts would be, I would tell Kling, make sure when you do generate these, that there can be no repeatable frames, right? So that would just make it even better. Now, maybe it's not able to do that yet. And so when you, remember I said like it takes 30 of these frames, because you're in, anytime you see a video, it's either 24 frames per second or 30 frames per second. And someone you might be like, hey mate, but when I'm playing me video games, it's the 60 FPS, mate. Yo, that's 60 frames per second, mate. Yeah, but we're not doing that high fidelity stuff. So anyways, pretty much every single thing you see on TV, on YouTube, whatever, it's either 24 or 30 frames per second. So like, obviously you would want like a different image every single time. You wouldn't want the same one. So that's why it's not quite perfect. But there's a saying in the AI world that, oh, this is the worst it's ever going to be. You know what I mean? And so like I saw this and like look at this. So it's the same thing, right? I just played with the colors. Like I played with like the color knob and I'm like, I like this. And look at this like weird couch. Like what a weird couch, right? But it's weird because I don't even think there was a couch in this main, like it added the couch on its own, but it's weird because when I make these like little fictitious rooms, I make couches that like look like this. Now this is weird. Like what is this? You just like lay like straight, like you're like in a shrink's office or something. But I like this. Like I would almost remake this and make it look like that almost because it's interesting. Like look at this thing up here. Like it's like this little balcony, but the balcony's inside the house. And look at this cutout. Look at how uneven it is. Look at how you could just fall over. Not to your death. You wouldn't die if you fell off this thing. You would probably break a bone, I would think. But like that's interesting. Like this like dual like gate up here, and that you could like go from here and you could like walk around here for whatever reason. No, it just looks nice. And like look at over here. Like look at how like blurry it looks down here. Almost looks like it looks like pixelated, but almost looks kind of like a painting, like you know, like a weird I don't know the right words I'm looking for. And like, look at how like, this background thing, like this background over here, it looks like it's part of the same thing. Like that was like the HDRI that I used. If you know about 3D, you would know what I mean. And then of course I just gave it like a different color, but it gave me ideas. And, I've been, in a very good, nice way. Like I like this cutout of this like pentagram. Like look, it's like pentagon. It's like 5 sides cut up there. Like you would do that by using like a Boolean in Blender. And I was like, I want to like make this. And I'm like, oh my God, it made me like interested in creating. Like how absolutely amazing. You know. Let's get a nice thing on screen or something. And let's just go back. So you can export this audio. I like it. Put it in a sampler, do things with it. September, right now we're, as I mentioned, 11/11. Happy 11/11, November 11th. I've been, I've been doing a lot more Ableton lately, which has been great. I've been working on this track with my friend who raps, and it's been like really good working on that. And I've been doing a lot of other stuff, been doing like in Ableton with like the arrangement page and automation and a lot of different things, like getting some good experience in areas that I haven't done before, and actually excited to, do something and work. Also, with the digital art stuff, I've been doing a lot of that, but I would say over the last month or so, I haven't been doing a lot of like, opening up a blank set in Blender and creating. Like it takes so long to create these things. Like it's really fun, like if you're working in like Photoshop or whatever, because like you're adding in images that already exist, and then you're like blending them together, creating like a mosaic or whatever, combining them all together. It's fun. The results are more immediate. But when you're, doing this from scratch in a 3D computer graphics software like Blender, like Cinema 4D, Houdini, 3ds Max, Maya, Cinema 4D, everything is polygons. Everything is vertices, edges, faces, which combine to make polygons, and you make all of these things. It can take a really long time to get anything that would look like this. And so, I kind of go in these like ebbs and flows with all of that stuff, and I haven't done, creating worlds, like stuff in, computer graphics in a while. What was amazing is that because it generated this, it opened up my imagination. I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, what if I recreated this on my own? And so I think with like AI, one of the things to know is that like, let it give you good ideas. So for instance, when there's people who are like, oh, that's AI, I don't like it. Maybe the person who made it relied on AI to like make everything for that person, right? Whereas if you allow it to give you good ideas, and then you go in and completely make a thing inspired by the good idea, it then can become your own, and it can actually help you in your artistic pursuits. And so I started, the other night, I started sketching out everything. Okay, here's like what the floor kind of looks like. This is what like, you know, the walls and the ceiling. And I got like hardly nowhere, and like 30 minutes passed by, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like tired now. I'm kind of done with this. But yeah, it's amazing. So a lot of good things. I was going to do a little bit more, but I feel like, so for instance, I was, maybe let's just see. Maybe let's not turn it off too soon. So like, remember I said there's like audio files in here, you know, with these like generated pieces of video, which is just so great. Let's like listen, which one do we like? Let's see. And what I'm gonna do is, so if you, I don't know how this is gonna work, because what I can do is like, if I wanted to like, so for instance, if for whatever reason I wanted to make this like a full video file, it would do this whole thing, and wherever there's audio, there would be audio, and it would just be video throughout, you know what I mean? So like for instance, if you go to like export, and obviously like I'm in Final Cut Pro, go to like export, you could then, just do the audio, but because actually, let's go here. Let's just do this audio. So let's listen to this. We haven't thermal throttled in a while, so why don't we just like keep doing this? So okay, so I'm gonna go into here, and I'm gonna export. No, not save current frame. We want export file, settings, audio only, small little file, that's very nice. Let's do the desktop. AI audio gem whatever. Throw it in a sampler. Same thing, same audio. These just look different because I just changed the colors to these videos. Good. Open up Ableton. You guys got an Ableton Live 12 yet? I do have it. Some of the new computer. Get wavetable off. I like simpler more than sampler. Don't even need to get into why. And I'm gonna open up a audio track. Open up a audio track. Let's add it in. Where did I save it? Just what the audio looks like. Let's play it. See how it's just the same thing repeated twice. Alright, gå till det simple. Slå in det audiofil. I don't know what sort of person sounds. And so like now, like listen to me play it. Let's put up the volume. Pump up the volume. The same thing, so it's just like, you know. And so like anytime you throw anything into a sampler, you can. So you know how it stops? We'll turn up the really silly. So things you can do is like turn down the filter, like filter it out. Well, mate, why would you want to do that? I don't know, because you can maybe like Beef it up. Let's put on a filter drive. Go on to oh, hey, Chunky. What are you looking at over there? Oh, someone's outside. Oh, no. You'll go bark at that person because they want to be... Okay. Go to the controls and go to the envelope. Now, nothing's going to happen, right? Nothing's going to happen because we got to go to the... And now we're playing with the volume envelope. Oh no, the computer is overheating. I think you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Oh no, kernel task. Oh no. Okay. Maybe a good place to put it. I had a feeling that even with my like computer limitations, you know, I could just like still get on and like make and do what I wanted to do, which was a combination of all these different things. So congratulations to you for sticking around. It's already cooled down, nice. Now let's go back to... Right? Like, that's kind of creative. Some people are like, well, it could never be creative. It's like, alright. Guess we'd have to just trust perception and understanding of the world, I guess. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Hope that was interesting. I'm definitely going to be making that like an actual Ableton tutorial. And I want to make it like very concise, no bullshit, no filler, about the additive synthesis in Ableton's operator. Show those like metallic bell sounds, doing those overtones, partials, I think they're also called. Yeah, it's pretty incredible because it makes those sounds as if you threw like a resonator device like Corpus or like resonators on it, except it's like just straight up in the synthesizer operator because it has those functionalities. Pretty cool, pretty great. Could make that. I might also make some, you know, when I talked about how like, you know, we changed the colors and did that whole thing, I might like show more of that, you know, like the digital art manipulation things, which any video editor is going to allow you to do. Like, it's not just going to be in a program like Photoshop, like a digital image editor. Will also be in any sort of video editor worth its weight in salt. And really, if you're on a Mac, you know, you'll probably use Final Cut Pro. If you're on like a Windows, you know, you're on like a PC, you're probably going to use, although I would not want to have to pay for any Adobe products and pay out the butt for it. You know, like what is like $80 a month to use like the Adobe products because you can't own any of them. It's like that's terrible subscription model. But like Premiere Pro, that's like the video editor most people use. So that's Adobe's product, Adobe Premiere Pro. There is the free one. What is it? And I was about to say Leonardo, but that's like an AI image photo, an AI video image generator. It's DaVinci Resolve, not Leonardo. Leonardo da Vinci. It's called DaVinci Resolve. It's actually free. There's a paid version that gives you like a lot more capabilities. But it was good hanging out. I hope you guys liked the last one, which came out like a week ago. Just like hanging out, talking about like AI, spirituality, transitioning from like the age of scarcity to the age of abundance, which is going to be happening very soon. We're in 2025, and at 2025, you know, the age, going from the age of, you know, where resources, everything is scarce, you know, economics of scarcity, to like the age of economic abundance, the age of abundance, and what that looks like, where, you know, AI handles all of the white collar work, any sort of job that is done behind a keyboard is done with AI, specifically AI agents. I was saying that like 2025 would be the year of the AI agents. It definitely has. And that 2026 would be the year of embodied AI, also known as, well, the robotics revolution, which is already happening with Tesla's Optimus robot, figure AIs, figure robot, Unitree's, what is it, G1 or R1, Borg, like there's a lot of them. But in any event, it's going to be great. Everything's going to be good. I'm not sure what we're going to do for the next video. It honestly might be the additive synthesis tutorial. I'm glad the technical limitations didn't screw with us. It might make me putting this together in post a little bit more challenging, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It was really great hanging out with you guys. Hope you are all doing well. Hope you are not being too freaked out with AI or anything in your life, you know what I mean? It's not like it's just AI. And so I would say feel good, because things are going to be very good for all of us, all of humanity. We're going to finally be able to just be humans being. We're going to be able to be human beings rather than human doings. We're not called human doings. We're called human beings. And anyways, guys, thank you so much. Good to see you. We will be back again. And take care.
What you doing, Jungle? What you doing for Jungle? Is that good, Junkie? That's that good, Junkie. What do you think about Junkie? What you think about Junkie? Junkie! Oh, he wants his foodie. Junkie! Get away from there, Junkie. Yeah, I say you, Junkie. Junkie! Oh, because that's where your food is? You want foodie, Junkie? You always want food, Junkie. Junkie, give me paw. Give me paw. Oh, that's that good boy, Chunky. That's a good boy, Chunky.